It is my great pleasure to be welcoming you all to George Grenville Academy. I would like to take this opportunity to provide you with some key information regarding this coming year. After I have finished my presentation, you will also have an opportunity to hear from your child's team leader and their class teacher individually. Each will give you a further insight into what you can expect from this next year at Grenville. The senior leadership team for George Grenville Academy consists of me, Emma Killick, the head teacher, and Caroline Ryan, my deputy head teacher, and also our special educational needs coordinator. Both of us are available each morning and afternoon at the school gates, but if you ever need to speak to us more privately, you are more than welcome to email the school office to book an appointment.
If you have a new concern around SEN for your child, the best person to speak to first is your child's teacher, because she is the person who knows them best in our school. She may be able to very easily reassure you with some evidence that she already has. Or she may decide to monitor the situation for a time to build some evidence, or carry out some assessments or investigations of her own, or come and talk to me about whether we need to take the issue further. If you have ongoing concerns for a child who already has SEN, then talk to your child's teacher or feel free to email me or give me a call at school. I'm around most of the time.
Our school office is run by Julie Wood, and Hannah Batterby is supporting her until Rebecca Burford-Lewis returns from her maternity leave later this year. We also have Kate Allen, our family worker, working in the office each morning to provide support when needed for any difficulties you or your children may be experiencing. This may be home or school related, and Kate is always happy to chat through anything on the phone. Kate is also in charge of monitoring pupil attendance and will contact you again by telephone to check all is well. In addition to your child's bubble staff, we have 4 specialist teachers who teach music, Spanish and sport across the whole school. We have adapted the school environment and day-to-day systems to keep the staff, children and families at home as safe as possible during this pandemic. Our risk assessment is updated fortnightly, and the latest copy can be found on our school website under COVID-19 policies and procedures. As you will now be aware, pupils are taught in bubbles across the school: early years, years 1 and 2, years 3 and 4, and years 5 and 6. We have structured the bubbles over 2 year groups to ensure high quality teaching can take place and staffing can be shared. Timetabling is easier, and to provide the children with a wider social group during the day. These bubbles will start each day and end each day at the same time, have lunch together and break times outside together. Each bubble has a team leader whom you will hear from after me. In the classroom, children are not expected to socially distance, but they do sit facing the front and in the same places for every lesson. They have their own equipment, provided in a named pencil case, and should not be sharing resources unless they are in early years who take a slightly different approach. They all have access to water and hand sanitizer, and hand washing times are built into the school day. The children sit next to the same people in lunch, which again minimises contact. The hall is set up in a similar way for lunch, with each class sitting on a different side, all facing the front. Lunch tables are cleaned down between settings. I would now like to tell you about some exciting improvements that are being made to the school this year and will greatly benefit the pupils. The first is something that the parent community have been fundraising for some time: a new teaching kitchen. Barratt Homes have been very generous in agreeing to provide and fit this beautiful new kitchen, and the money the parents have previously raised will mean that we can decorate and get much needed lighting in there to support the work. Once in, the children will all have cookery lessons back on their timetables, meaning every child will benefit from this new addition. On top of this work, we have been lucky enough to be awarded funding to replace all our fire doors across the school, which will update the look of the school and improve the general safety. We are really looking forward to showing you the finished results on both these projects. This brings me nicely on to talk about the Frogs team, which stands for Friends of George Grenville School. Emily Paul is chair of the committee and is always really happy to welcome new faces along to their meetings. Every parent is part of the Frogs team, whether you attend fundraisers, support in the build-up, or help with ideas and behind the scenes. This is obviously quite a tricky time to raise funds by holding events, so any new ideas are much appreciated, and all funds raised directly improve the provision for the pupils in the school. Please keep an eye on the calendar on the school website, as all events will be posted on that for you to keep up to date. The website is the last thing I would like to talk about and is something that we have spent a great deal of time updating. Please visit this site to find out all the latest and most up-to-date information. We are planning on holding parent consultations via telephone or Zoom straight after half-term, which you will be able to book online via parent mail. Please book a slot, as our teachers would love to speak to you about your child, and it will be an excellent opportunity to learn about their academic levels, how they're settling back into school, and also an opportunity for you to talk about any issues you would like to raise. I will now hand you over to the team leader for your child's bubble.
Hello and welcome to Key Stage 1. My name is Clare Haynes, the phase leader, and I would like to introduce you to all the staff in the team. Alongside me in Year 2 are Jane Fillets, Claire Berman, Jo Morris and Alicia Stones. In Year 1 we have Jessica Fowler, Catherine Tinsley and Megan Ballinger. As we are in a bubble, this means we have a similar timetable for the day. We can share learning spaces and have playtimes and lunchtimes together. Our day begins at 8:50, with the children arriving. We wash hands, register, and are ready to begin our first lesson shortly after 9 o'clock. In Key Stage 1, we set groups across the Key Stage to target precise phonics teaching and guided reading, regularly swapping groups so we have a clear picture of every child's progress. This means that our first lesson is actually split across the Key Stage. We have clear routines for hand washing and sanitising throughout the day, with which the children are now familiar and accustomed to. At Grenville, we have high expectations for children's attitudes towards learning and towards each other. They are familiar with our 7 school values, and these are referred to regularly in assemblies and in each lesson. Alongside this, we help children to learn to recognise and manage their emotions by talking through the zones of regulation. You may hear them refer to being in a particular colour zone, and this helps them to acknowledge and identify how to help themselves. We use lots of reward systems in school, from stickers to house points and merits. This can lead to treats being earned or certificates. We also use the same rocket reminder system across the school that children are familiar with. To help children learn to become more independent in problem solving, we use the debug and 4Bs, which the children should be able to tell you about.
Welcome to Year 1. This year in Year 1 we have Mrs Tinsley, a teaching assistant supporting the learning in the classroom. We also have Miss Ballinger, who will be supporting the class and also working one-to-one with one child in the classroom. I am Miss Fowler and I'll be teaching your children this year. As you can see from the images, our classroom looks similar to the environment that the children will have been used to in reception. In Year 1, we blend more formal learning with continuous provision, which the children will refer to as choosing time. Continuous provision means focused activities are planned and prepared in advance for the children to guide their own learning. This style of learning will mean that they will gradually build up the amount of formal learning they do to enable them to be ready for Year 2. In Year 1, we still continue to have a large outdoor area for the children to engage with self-guided and more practical learning. Progressing from reception, in Year 1, we will base lots of our learning around themes. This first half term, we've been focusing on the theme Enchanted Woodland. We have explored the story of the Gruffalo, we have looked at the weather and the seasons, and will continue until October half term. After October half term, we will begin our new topic, the Nutcracker. The classroom will become a sweet shop and the Nutcracker will come and visit us. Christmas will start early in Year 1 this year. After the Christmas holidays, we will begin a new topic. The next theme is the Great Fire of London. The classroom will change from the sweet shop to the bakery on Pudding Lane. We will explore the history of the Great Fire of London, and in science we will think about materials. After the February half term, we will soar into the sky with our next topic, Up, Up and Away, where we will look at all different types of flight, from aeroplanes to birds. For the last term of school, we will travel around the world. We will start our topic Into the Sea, where we will explore sea life. We will do this by looking at the book The Snail and the Whale. Then we will continue looking at the world and start our topic Down Under, focusing on Australia. Our classroom will evolve with the themes that we cover, and there will be opportunity for continuous provision within the classroom and outside. In Year 1, we are building independent learners. We will start to become more responsible with many different roles around the classroom. We will continue to use the rocket as a behaviour management tool. This is familiar to the children, and they have an understanding of the consequences. Each child will also have their own bucket to fill when we see kindness around the classroom. Usually our day in Year 1 begins with the register and then going through the timetable of the day. Then we begin phonics. Then we have break time, and after break time we begin maths and funky fingers. Then it's lunchtime play, and then lunchtime in the hall. After lunch we will do English in small groups, and there's some time for choosing. Then after English we will have break time and then some theme. In these lessons we will cover science, geography and history. Year 1 have been loving PE already with Mr. Peacock and Mr. Goodwin. We have PE on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, so everybody needs to be in their PE kits on those days. Reading is very important in Year 1. To enable children to make good reading progress, they need to be reading at home each day. Their reading books will be changed on a Monday.